What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8, Papa Zulu November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by. Your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Hump Day. That means it's time for the Hump Day Happy Hour. And you might as well pull out your popcorn because we're going to talk a little bit of Pota Etiquette tonight. And my normal technician ain't here to co-host, so I figured we'd bring out another co-host. That way you didn't have to only look at my ugly face. We got to have a couple ugly faces out here, right? So let's
Thanks for the intro.
let's bring out somebody uglier than me, so I'm the good-looking guy here. Let's bring out the PP man, the guy who likes to cheat on his QRP radio.
Oh, I put a towel over it when I do. So
I hear you. What's going on, Ed? Good to see you. I see Charlie Uniform 3 Hotel Yankee in the chat. He's been hunting me quite a bit lately. Good stuff. I said there's a bunch of you guys out there. I seen Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Alpha November. He's a channel member. He's lit up in green there, so he's easy to see for me. So,
I got a new name, Kilo Man.
You're Kilo Man now?
Yeah, Dan called me Kilo Man.
Okay. Well, why are you Kilo Man? I'm curious.
5 kilos in the last month and a half.
Well, if we're gonna call somebody,
it's still potatoes. It's just potatoes compared to you, buddy.
Oh no! I'm not even gonna compare to me. If you're gonna call somebody Kilo Man, we're gonna call the Protector of the North the Kilo Man because I can't remember how many he did in one day, but I know it was quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that was the day where he had them all within like 10 or 12. And then right. He did I think it was 7. I think he did 7 kilos in a day.
Yeah, I was going to do 3 one day, and I did 2 and was on my way to the 3rd, and there was a wreck on the road, and I was like, I'm going to another park. I don't care. Not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. So we're going to talk a little bit of Pota etiquette tonight. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to these wonderful folks here. They're my Patreons. And they keep me going with gasoline and hot dogs in my belly tonight. Mike got to watch me. I actually ate before the live stream, y'all. It's a first for me, I believe. I actually ate tonight and some good hot dogs with chili and cheese. And we'll also give a shout out. There was a little bit of moving around in the Adventure Club. Harold Skinner come from nowhere and jumped into the top 10. Actually, I think David Davenport got bumped out, and we all know he ain't gonna have that. So we'll see him donate here shortly because he don't like to not be on the board, and he don't like ties. But anyway, we're gonna talk a little bit of Pota etiquette.
I got to correct myself, by the way. RFing around just corrected us. It was 14 kilos in one day.
I didn't say how much because I knew it was a bunch.
I was wrong. I was incorrect. I misspoke. I shortchanged him.
Shortchanged him. You better watch it. He's a protector of the North, man, and you're pretty close to the North. You better be careful.
I could see my numbers go zap, right? He has that power.
Well, I mean, he swings a big sword. It might be off with your head, and I don't even give the order. You know, he might go rogue on me. He thinks he's safe with this ice wall separating the kingdoms, but
it's coming.
He don't know the reach of the king, does he? So I went out and did an activation before the stream, and I figured it would put me in the mood to talk about Pota etiquette, and it absolutely did. I don't even know. The first place we're going to start is listen. That is the word of the night, listen. Because in every single thing that we talk about tonight, if you just listen, you probably wouldn't have done it to start with. You hunt a lot too, so you're on both sides. You can't hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, I seen you do something with your ears.
Oh no! Listen.
Oh, okay. That's what I get for watching the YouTube stream instead of the StreamYard with the delay. Uh, but so you're on both sides, so you can tell people, you know, we're gonna start right here. If you can't hear the activator, don't call the activator.
Oh, I've
I mean,
seen that.
that's the big number one. If you can't hear the activator, there's no use in calling him, because even if you sit there and call him 10 times and he hears you every time, when he calls you back, guess what? You don't hear him and you keep calling him. Uh, I was actually talking to Kilo Delta 9 Tango Echo Zulu, the guy who's been activating Hawaii a lot, and he was telling me that so many people will just call him absolutely blind, not even hear him, and he'll call them back because he hears them. He says, and they just keep calling and calling and calling,
On a
and
case
then
on a case like Hawaii, they're probably just hoping that they're heard, and they're hoping that he'll put them in the log, even though it's not a full QSO. They're thinking maybe I'll get put in the log anyways.
yeah, I mean, but they do that to me, and I'm not Hawaii for sure. Like you have no idea how many requ- uh, requests I get for logs to be confirmed, and I'll go through and look and see if there's something wrong with it. And a lot of them is they've just put the wrong stuff, but a lot of them they're not in the log at all. And I'll sit and think back, and I'll be like, oh, that was probably that guy. And this is the big mistake. This is why we listen. We listen. When the activator calls a call sign, make sure it's you, because I get it all the time. I'll say Kilo Echo 8 Papa Tango X-ray, and then I'm trying to give you a signal report and all your stuff, and then I've got this other guy calling uh, Kilo Oscar 4 Mike Sierra Tango. You're 5'9" Georgia. Well, that's good that I'm 5'9" Georgia, but I'm talking to Kilo Echo 8 Papa Tango X-ray. You're gonna have to wait. And sometimes you're 5'9" Georgia and they're gone.
Yeah,
And then they request that I confirm their log, and I'm like, no, I didn't get you.
yeah. That's probably the case. Like I said, they call. They just hope you're just going to put them in the log, which it doesn't work that way. You probably don't notice this because your pilots are so huge, but when you get two or three people in there and you quite didn't make out a whole call, you'll say Tango November, come back. And all of a sudden you'll get another call that you didn't hear come back that has a November in it. And it's not even Tango November.
Right,
And you'll take his call and then you'll ask for Tango November again. And that call actually existed. And it was there. So you get people that kind of sneak in.
right. And James has a good point here. Sometimes he hears the activator called him, but the band dropped out, uh, and there's no response. And then they call back a few minutes, and it is super annoying. But that kind of happens. But a lot of times, the reason they don't come back to you is because other people ain't listening. I say Victor Echo 3 Juliet Lima November, and you don't hear me because I've got some other guy screaming his call over top of me. He's drowning me out, and you're not hearing me. And then I'll be like, Juliet Lima November 5'9", 1810. And then this guy's still screaming his call sign over top of the activator. And that goes with he's not hearing the activator, or he just don't care. He's just trying to get in the log. But it does. It gets really annoying if I have to call somebody like 3 times, and it gets really really annoying, you know. But
Here's a pet peeve for me for the activators. When I'm hunting and I'm hunting QRP, and if I contact you guys a lot, I'll even go lower power. Like Tom has made a comment that he won't log me unless I'm a watt or less. Just in kidding. But the activators need to break it up a little bit, especially somebody that gets and like yourself, where you get a lot of long pileups. The mobile guys or the park to parks that are weak signal, the QRP guys, they can't get through unless we're frequent and you know us and you can make out our voice or whatever. You'll pull us out. That happens. There's a lot of callers, a lot of activators out there. They'll just go all day long and never break it up. Never give anybody else a chance to come in.
Right.
That's just a pet peeve of mine. That's not really etiquette. It's their activation. They do it whichever way they want. But.
Yeah, I typically get, I don't have a lot of people complain that I don't get them when they're QRP. They might end up waiting until later in the pile up. But I mean, at the beginning of the pile up, even there's power stations that they're just like, nah, I can't touch it, because now the key to me, if you want to break my pile up, the key to me is consistency. Hunt me consistently. If you hunt me consistently, I will pull you out fairly easy. I mean, there's probably, I know it's kind of weird because I had brain surgery and I have short term memory loss, but I don't know why when it comes to Pota, I've got like at least 100 call signs in my head that I can hear the tone of them, just hear their tone, and if I hear that call sign, I can tell you their name and where they're from. And it's just because they're definitely consistent. Hey, thanks for subscribing, David. I appreciate it. Uh, they're definitely consistent. And once you get, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that can tell you, because there's people that when they used to start hunting me, I would sit there and I'd have to call their call sign. Like I'd call it 10 different ways because I wasn't hearing them good, and because people don't believe this, but I'm deaf in my right ear. Uh, it's funny because when I activated with James, I was thinking that I wasn't hearing his radio because it was so clear, and I didn't have the garbage to pick through because he's got such advanced filtering. And I was thinking, man, I just don't hear your radio as good. I was like, that's so clear. But then I realized on day 2 that I'm setting on the left of the radio, which puts my right ear toward the radio, and I don't have nothing. We're outside, so nothing's bouncing off very good. And I'm used to. The thing is, James is the same way. He can't hear out of his right ear, so we're both used to setting. Thank you very much for the super chat, Eddie. Uh, yeah, I don't think you ever have a problem there, Ed Warp. Ed Warp seems to break pileups pretty good and that's a good way. That's a good way to break a pileup. You find something in your call sign and you emphasize on it. Like mine is Papa Zulu November. Eddie's is Kilo Oscar 4 November Lima Lima. I can hear November Lima Lima like, and it's funny because there's 2 Lima Limas that are always breaking my pileup, but they sound totally different. And I've only confused them one time because they're just way different activators or hunters. But I don't know where
Did you have that ability to memorize that much information, or not memorize, but keep that, like you said, 100 calls with certain voice tones? Did you have that before your brain surgery?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people's brains, when they have not necessarily surgery but trauma, and they come out of it and they recover, their brains had to compensate, and now they've got new talents with their brains that they didn't even know they had before, because their brain is changing.
That's true, and I kind of actually do have a new talent, and it's with my hearing, and it's the simple fact that now that because the surgery is what made me deaf in my right ear, because they took the tumor, it was right above my right ear, and it was about the size of a baseball, and I guess when they were in there, they done something, and I went deaf from it, and well, I say deaf, but I can technically hear really extremely high pitched sounds that most humans don't even hear in my right ear. It's annoying, actually. I can hear this. I'm like, do you hear that? I hear what? And I'll hear it. But I think that's where I got the whole picking up tones really good because they said that's like people who go blind, they say their smell and their hearing gets better and stuff like that. And I think my left ear, where it has to struggle to hear so much, it started picking up tones. Like it's just it's a weird thing because I did not have that before, where I could just hear a tone and be like, oh, that's Arnold down in Georgia, Kilo Charlie 4, Zulu Uniform Alpha. You know, there's a guy out in Michigan, and it's funny because when he first started hunting me, and I did not know his pro tip, use a dog whistle to send your call in CW. You know, that would probably work if I was a little better in CW. I'm pretty horrible in CW, and I don't understand that because it's tones too. I should be killing it, but
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm still struggling. I I do have I think like 50 CW contacts for Pota now, and I am going to do an activation before the end of this year. So, but yeah, listen, I love the Michigan guys, Dave. I've got a big following in Michigan, and I definitely like all the Michigan guys.
You
But
can come up here and do a rove in January with us.
Rove in January, that sounds like an absolute nah. I'll pass.
After the conversation a couple days ago about how you hate cold, yeah, you might want
I,
to pass.
I'm not a cold person, and uh, that well, most people know in February I go to Florida for a month. So you know, I,
Yeah,
if
I
if
hope to
I'm
be there in February too.
if I'm going anywhere in January, it'll be Hawaii. I'll just go ahead and put that out there.
Yeah,
If I'm going anywhere, but other than well, I'm going to parks around here every day. I don't care if it's 20 below zero. You'll see me in the park. I might be sending smoke signals to make it because everything's frozen, but whatever.
Hmm.
PP man, where are you going?
Actually, close to Bradenton, Clearwater area, just below. That's just below Clearwater.
He's not telling you the true story, Brian. He's
Oh,
going down. He's going down there about the same time I am because he is the court jester, and he knows if the king don't laugh, it's off with his head. So he wants to make sure if I need a laugh while I'm in Florida, he can just be right there to take it out.
no,
Uh,
I'm going there because I don't like the cold anymore. I don't like shoveling snow.
yeah, I don't care for it either. Uh, I'll do,
Even
I'll
though,
do I'll listen. I'll go out and do Winterfield Day and stay out the whole time. Last time it was like 7 degrees and snow, and it was a blast. You just used the tin cup to warm you up at night, and you just keep trucking.
today was beautiful here. I actually did activate both activations outside the car. It was awesome. It was awesome. But Saturday's not. Come Saturday, it's all over.
Well, this morning wasn't beautiful. What time did you start?
Oh, first activation was what 3 o'clock, and the second was four
Oh,
fifteen or something.
I'm sorry. I forget. You work from home. People get that luxury.
Oh, I didn't work today. No, I spent time with my grandson, and yeah, no, it's I hunted
So,
this morning. Yeah, I did some
so
hunting.
I was out around 7:40 ish, I think. And it was 31 degrees this morning. And yeah, to some people that's not cold, but to me that's starting to be too cold for me. I don't like that stuff.
Hey, going back to etiquette, what is your position on people wanting to give you relays? You're an activator, and people are
Nope.
trying to pass you a relay.
Now, Liz, I don't mind if somebody says, PP man's calling you. Like you're the QRP guy and you're trying to, and somebody says PP man's calling you. But then I will say Kilo Echo 8 Papa Tango X-ray. And if I can hear you, good. If I can make the contact with you. But as far as you calling me and James saying, "Hey, PP man says you're 5'9" in Michigan," and I'll be like, "Well, tell PP man I don't have him, but he's in the log." No.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get them from time to time where I can't hear the whole call. He's down, he's giving me a 1-1 signal. I can't get the whole call, and somebody will finish the call for me. And I say, no, I don't do relays.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you, McRelay.
McRelay. James, what RFN around? What's your position on that? McRelay.
Now, if I'm making a park to park with James, and I hear James and I hear his signal report, but I can't make out one of the numbers in his park, and I keep saying 5562, and somebody just hunting says 5563. I'm like, okay, 5563. I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? As long as I heard his call sign, got his signal report, and he got my call sign, my signal report, I'm good with getting the other number. But if I can't hear their call sign or whatever, it ain't happening. Kyle says it was 78 today and had to do an activation, only CW on 20 meters.
Dan says it's not a net, no relays.
That's right. Yeah, I do want to run a Pota net on right next to like one of the aggravating lid nets and run a Pota net. And I would do it from a park, but I told everybody if I do it from a park, you'll get the park contact. But if somebody relays you into the net, I'll check you into the net, but you won't get the contact. And then somebody said,
net.
The pancake net.
Only takes two people to have a net, right?
But back to it. The whole listen thing, it cracks me up because there's people out there that will literally just call their call sign no matter who's talking until you either get them or they give up. I mean, I had one today and I don't even remember his call sign, but we'll use yours because I can call you out. So I was like, all right, Victor Echo 3 call, Kilo Echo 8 Papa Tango X-ray. And I'm like, Victor Echo 3 take, Kilo Echo 8 Papa Tango X-ray. Victor Echo 3 call. And you barely hear him in there. I'm like, all right, Victor Echo 3 Lima Tango Yankee, you're Kilo Echo 8 Papa Tango X-ray. And I'm like, you're just calling me blind or but the thing was I eventually called him so he would leave, and he heard me when I called him. He gave me a signal report and everything. And I mean, Pota's not about that. Listen, you're not making money for making the contact. And chances are I'm not in a unique park for you because the parks that I do most of the time, I've activated like 4,000 times a piece. So, I mean, what's... Yes, that's Pat calling Kyle on CW. And Kyle, I found a Whiskey Alpha 7 club that I can join. And every time Pat calls you on CW, I'm going to call too. So we're just going to really mess up your whole CW activation. We're going to be the lids that Kyle needs in his life.
Everybody needs a lid.
Okay. But all right, here's another pet peeve of mine. There's different activators out there, okay? And there's nothing wrong with different activators. And some of the activators, they're rag chewers, and that's cool. They're doing Pota. They're doing Pota.
The story's coming, right?
For no. Well,
you asked for it.
Okay. Most of the time, I don't care. Okay, since he's going to call me out. But I mean, and if they're a rag chewing operator, that's how they're having fun. That's them. I'll listen for a minute and I'll say park to park. And if they don't pick me up the first time, I'm not listening through 12. I'm gone, you know. But if they're rag chewing and you want to ask them a question, Zagreb 66 degrees here, Terry says. It feels a lot colder, Terry. But you know, that's cool. Every activator does it their way, and there's no wrong way to activate as long as you're in the park, you and your equipment, and you're having fun. That's all that matters, you know.
Okay. The activation, it belongs to the activator and he can do whatever he wants. But just be careful, guys, when you've got the king hunting you and you're activating and you're sitting there rag chewing with VE3 Larry, and then all of a sudden I get a text on my phone I look over at and he says, "Are you rag chewing when I'm trying to get a hold of you?"
No, you were rag chewing VBR.
Oh, was it VBR?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I get a text that says, "Are you rag chewing when I'm trying to get a hold of you?"
It's different when you're holding up the king. That's that
That's what I'm
that.
saying, you know?
I mean, that can be off.
Almost lost my head.
That can be off with your head really quick. No, no, what? Yeah, I did do that, guys. I did text him and tell him to quit rag chewing. That it was time for the king to make an appearance.
I lost it. I couldn't see straight for probably 5 minutes.
And he was a smart aleck too, just so you know. And he told him he said, "Hey, I got to stop rag chewing you if you the king wants to make a contact." And then he said, "Everybody be quiet. The king is coming to make a contact."
I did. Full quieting, everybody. Oh.
but no, if they're rag chewers, it's cool. You rag chew with them. But if you get to an activator who's blowing through contacts, every now and then I'll make a comment with somebody, and if it's in the middle of the day and I'm not in a hurry doing something and I'm making comments with other people, and you want to ask me a question, that's cool. But if I'm, you know, at the height of the pile up, and I'm on Kilo Echo 8, Papa Tango X-ray, 591810, Victor Echo 3, Juliet Lima November, 591810, Alpha Delta 2, Charlie Delta, 591810, Kilo 8, Golf Quebec. What antenna are you running? What part of Logan County is Chief Logan in? Hey, did you have bacon for breakfast? No, don't do that, y'all, because here's the thing. I don't write down all the calls when I'm hearing them. I memorize them, and I've got 5 calls in my head. And when you're number 2 and you start asking me what kind of bacon I eat for breakfast, those other 3 calls disappear in my head, and I gotta make them go back through the pile. So
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Follow the traffic. If the traffic is all doing 80 at the activation, you should probably do 80 also.
And here we go. Larry's gonna get me started. Yes, that's one that I wanted to talk about. How many times, if you listen to my pile up because if I don't know your tone, if I don't know your tone, you're going to listen to my pile up for several minutes anyway. So, I thank you very much, Eddie. Antenna question pass. Okay, you get 1 antenna question pass. But you know what? You done used it in the middle of a pile up already. But no,
what park are you in?
if you listen to my pile up for I don't go every 10 minutes. About every 10 contacts, which is about a minute and a half max for me, I say Kilo Echo 8, Papa Zulu November, QRZ. So if you've listened for 5 or 10 minutes and then you finally get through to me, why do you got to say, what's your call sign? And my favorite on top of that, the worst one is, what park number are you at? Because every single signal report, unless I'm at a multi-park, every single signal report, I say, you're 5'9" and 7056. You're 5'7" and 7056. And the same people, I'll be like, you're 5'7", 7056. Hey, cool. What park you in? I'm in 7056.
If you've been saying it a lot, I'd see it. But every once in a while, you'll get a dial spinner, and he just comes on you right there and then. Because I don't call the park every single time, especially if there's a pileup. I might just say QRZ, push it on, push it on. So there's a rare case that the guy's coming through and he's just spinning the dial.
You can get a little pass on the call sign, but you're not going to get the part number from me because I say the part number every single time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't. So
and unless I'm in a multi-park. If I'm in multi-park, because I hate saying 2 or more call signs, I'll say you're 5'9" in both parks. But every 5th to 7th call, I'll say you're 5'9" in 1823 and 4774.
I missed point number 1. Listen.
you mislisten. Well, go back and re-listen to point number 1. Oh, by the way, Robbie, your antenna has really improved. I don't know what you did to that thing. Yeah, you must have added some really big gain, but man, you're like 5'9" plus when you hunt me all the time.
I see hunting as an audio version of FT8.
Oh boy, here we go. I'm not even going to touch that.
I don't get it. That needs to be spelled out for me. I don't get it.
Well, it basically hunting me would be kind of like an audio version of FT8 because what he's saying is I go through a sequence. I say QRZ, you hear roar. I say Papa Tango X-ray 591810. You say 57 blah 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 blah. I say thanks for hunting 73 QRZ. I just went through that FT8 sequence, and because I don't rag you. It's rare that you get something out of me, unless I've got something that I just gotta tell you. It's rare. So I could be the sideband FT8er.
Just don't ever get caught rag chewing when the king's hunting you.
So if I'm the sideband FT8er, then I could go into war criminal mode with a robot and just have my robot call CQ for me, right? And then I could live in a park and make QSOs.
Oh my God, here we go.
24/7.
You guys got him started on a rant.
You want to talk etiquette? Let's talk etiquette.
Oh God. Is this an open forum?
Let's talk etiquette. Thank you very much for the super chat. He needs to. Okay, he's done got me on another rant. He done said the grid square, giving the next 3 calls automatically. Look, I'm all cool. If you need a grid square or you need a county, that's what you do. You're not looking for POTA, okay? But it is really easy. It's really easy. I answer like 9,000 emails a week anyway. It's really easy to send me an email and say, hey, you were in 1810. Can you tell me what grid square or what county that was in? You don't got to stop my flow. Because especially when I'm on a rove, and I'm in Ohio and somebody says, what grid you in? Well, I don't know. I don't even know what county I'm in. I don't know nothing. I know I'm in Kilo, blah blah blah, and that's all I know. I map quest my way there, and I map quest my way to the next park.
Does that more happen though when there's a QSO party going on or something like that?
No, them are even worse because then they want to hunt you. They hear you doing they hear me doing my FT8 sideband exchange. You're 591810. You're 591810. And they're going to say, what's your serial number? OU812. I think, come on.
What part of West Virginia are you in?
Did that come from Toby?
No.
Okay.
Terry.
Because who?
Terry.
Who? Terry, I am in the King's Landing part of West Virginia. It's on 1400 King Castle Drive, and you must request an audience with me to get past the gate. And I'm getting called out about the map quest. Whatever. Google Maps, whatever. I'm old, David. I'm old.
MapQuest. I didn't even catch that one. Yeah, you're old.
People, these younger generation, they couldn't even POTA back in the day. They wouldn't even know what to do going on the road, looking at paper maps going down the road. I've had to do that, y'all. Come on.
Yeah, it's those days are gone now. Yeah, have you noticed though, when we lose signal and we don't have any signal, we're like, oh, now what do
I do? Yeah, this is the bad part. Now this is the problem. Is when you use your phone to get to the park, right? Well, and you get to the park and there's no signal to MapQuest out of it. There I go, MapQuest again. To Google Maps out of it, and then you're like, I got to try to remember my way back out of here and get to something where I can have signal. But yeah, luckily I know all my local parks. I know how to get to very well. I did have to ask a question about one of my local parks today, because where I run a cell phone booster, I had somebody ask me where the best place to get cell phone signal in a park was. And I'm like, I get it everywhere there because I run a booster. I was like, hold on, let me find. So I had to message Reed and like, hey, where's the best place? Because it's Reed's domain. I don't activate it that much, but I said, where's the best place to do 1800 at for cell phone service? And he told me. So shout out to Reed. And I'm actually going to probably do 1800 tomorrow with the Pota boss himself. So that's beside the point. Okay, what was my rant? I calmed down there for a minute.
Yeah, you were starting to talk about somebody way out west that does FT8, but I think I neutered that a little bit. Otherwise, you'd be going on for the rest of the stream.
No, I wasn't going to talk about a person. I was going to talk about all the hunters who hunt them. If you knowingly hunt a cheater, you're cheating. I'm just throwing that out there. That's my etiquette question for today. If you knowingly put yourself in a cheater's log, you're cheating yourself. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to rant at all. I'm calm.
Oh boy.
I mean, it doesn't matter because they're going to probably put you in their log anyway. But if you spotted them, I know you hunted them. I know what kind of morals you have, and you're not riding on one of my king's horses.
You're walking. You get the donkey.
Off with your head.
Off with your head.
Into my pile up. You might make it into pile up by the time I get done with 80 meters tonight.
You still got my little picture I sent you of the guillotine?
Not to where I can use it, but I've been wanting to do a little mock-up picture with that.
I looked at that 100 times, and I looked at it the 101st time I looked at it, I noticed that his head falls into a pie.
Oh Lord! So Dave wants me to explain the cheating thing. Yeah.
See.
And Richard said, Dave, you sure you want to open that can of worms? Dave, send me an email and I'll explain that, because if I get started on that on the stream, we won't even talk. No.
Yeah. He'll get all stupid and stuff, and yeah. I've had to listen to it. I've been his rubbing stone for many phone calls.
We'll just say that there's two very known cheaters. One of them activates not in parks, which are not legit, and the other one just uses a computer to activate 24/7. Hopefully that'll help you out.
James and I are starting a petition to make FT8 its own class on Pota. So there's 2 signatures on it.
I'm starting a petition to make Pota great again. Stop the cheating.
It's gonna be a tough one, buddy. Tough one.
It'll never happen. I know. I know. Okay. Back to etiquette. No, they provoked me. They provoked. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. If I'd
I
have did
got
this,
one.
if I would have did this live stream Monday morning, I'd have went on a rant because PP Man knows he was one of the phone calls I made to try to calm me down off the ledge because I was livid.
He was lit. Yeah. I got one. And I don't know if everybody does this, but I've seen this more than once or twice. You'll go to the spotting page, and I usually scroll through the whole spotting page. I'll put it on all and scroll through the whole spotting page to see the freaks that everybody's on. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen 2 people on the same freak. Now, they might not be able to hear each other, but their hunters can probably hear each other. If they're in the middle or they're positioned in such a way that they're hearing both activators. Scroll through there and look to see what freak everybody's on and stay away from them. I mean, literally 2 or 3 times I've seen it where 2 different parks, 600 miles apart, they're on the same frequency. I know you can't hear each other, but you're messing with the hunters.
I do that, but there are times when you're in parks and you don't have any kind of service, and if you don't hear somebody, you don't hear them. Because I am guilty. I've done it twice. And believe it or not, the twice that I've done it was to the same person. Kilo Bravo 3, Charlie Mike Tango. I've jumped on him twice. And so, I mean, it does happen accidentally too. But yeah, I always try to stay away from the other activators.
Go ahead.
You brought up the spotting page, so I'm gonna bring this one up.
Here's one for you. Wait, is it proper? And I've done this. Is it proper when somebody, you're activating, you've been there for 15 minutes, and all of a sudden somebody shows up, one freak below you, or well, if you're depending on which frequency you're on, they'll show up right below you, and they're just covering you up. Me especially, because 99% of the time I'm running QRP. Somebody comes in and they'll say, give their signal, and you give them your signal, and I says, yeah, I give you better, but I can't really hear you that well because the guy that's just covering me up. And they'll volunteer to go over there and tell them to move. And I said, please do. I mean, it's like sicking a dog on somebody,
Look, I'm not even asking for volunteers. If somebody's QRMing me and you guys can go run them off, have at it. I mean, I will love you forever,
Oh, I appreciate it because, like I said, I'm not going to move.
But don't go over there and be like the lids that do us. Just say, hey, they're over there doing the parks on the air, and they've been there for a while, and you moved in on them. Maybe you can't hear them, but you're flooding them out, and just ask them politely to move. Don't be that, because here's the thing: when these guys come in and they ask me nicely, and Terry's in the chat, he can be the first to tell you because he was listening one day when a guy from a net come in and said, hey, in about 10 minutes, we normally run a net one up from you. Is it going to be a problem, or do you want us to move? And I about had a heart attack because you never have a net say, or do you want us to move?
Yeah.
And I said, no, because you asked, I will gladly move for you. And he's like, really? And he got all excited. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And I left. And Terry sat and listened to him, and they talked really nice about me. But if you ask me, I have no problem moving. But if you come over and demand and say you own the frequency and blah, 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 nah, it ain't happening.
I had that exact same situation. I think it was Monday. There was a freak going to start in about 30 or net about starting in about 15 or 20 minutes. And the guy came over politely and asked me, no, I was on their frequency. Yeah. And he politely asked, informed me that there's a net that starts in about 15 minutes, and am I almost done and whatnot. And he was so nice about it. I says, yeah, I can be done. I've got my activation, so that's not a problem. Yes. And he says, I says, you want to be logged in? And he said, sure. So he gave me his call. And then next thing you know, all the other guys from the net, they started giving me their calls. And I think I probably booked another 15 people.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
And then as soon as I was done with them, I said, thank you very much, guys. Have a great net, and left. Yeah, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. You bite me, I'm going to kick you in the.
so it's not going to fade in my mind, Curtis. But if you want to get me back, you're welcome to start activating. I'll just start like in between my own calls. I'll just start calling you and try to do a park to park while I'm doing my calls. So I don't care. Yeah, I'm used.
Curtis is about one of the most polite people I've operating any Pota.
Funny story. Curtis is, and I typically leave jammers alone and stuff like that. But it was a hunter, and he one night he was just giving Curtis down the road because Curtis takes his time when he does his activation. He does it his way. He Curtis has a video out on how he does a pile up, and if you're not seen it and ever curious how Curtis remembers so many call signs, you can go watch it. Curtis will listen to it, and he will take and put them in his comments down here, his partials that he hears, and then he'll move them to the next ones and delete them. And I watched the video on it and stuff like that. So he's very efficient in the way he works. But some guy was getting around. That's not how you do it. You got to get these calls in and out and blah 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 blah. And I was like, park to park. And I just told the guy, you're rude. It's the way the activator does it.
Exactly. I said that when we first started. It's your activation. You do
it. The activator is the person who's using his gas, who's using his time, his equipment to go out in the field and do radio because that's what he likes to do. You know what I'm saying? He's not, you're not doing nothing but sitting at home. You just got done eating dinner and you figure you're going to harass this guy because he's not going fast enough for you. If you want speed, come over to my pile up.
You want high blood pressure? Go to James. If you want low blood pressure, you go to Curtis.
I mean, there's no wrong way to do it. Now, me getting a park to park with Curtis, basically most of the time depends on him coming to me, because I'll roll over and he'll be in the middle of one of his piles, and I'm like, nope, I know how many calls he's got wrote down. I gotta go. I gotta activate. But I know Curtis will come hunt me. He's good about that.
It's your activation. You do it your way.
But anyway, so Dayton, all the lids were supposed to come to Dayton and choke me with coax cables and blah, 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 blah. I waited all weekend for all this action. And some guy comes up to Curtis and gives Curtis a hard time at Dayton. And I'm like, what is going on here? Oh, he now limits his to 5 to 6. Okay.
That's talent, man. I can't do that.
I can do 5 to 6 in my head until somebody says, "What antenna you running?" Or just throws me off with something weird.
You can be tripped easy.
Pota etiquette. Pota etiquette. Know your call sign. Please know your own call sign. Kilo Echo 8, Papa Tango X-ray. Kilo Echo 8, Papa Tango X-ray, 5-9. Okay, if your name don't come up, I'll say it again. Kilo Echo 8, Papa Tango X-ray, right? and you say right again. Well, guess what? When I get home and I go to do my edit and there is no Kilo Echo 8, Papa Tango X-ray because it was Kilo Echo 8, Papa Tango Echo, and you were just in a hurry to get in that contact, guess what? You ain't making a contact.
Nope.
Because it's gone. Know your call sign. I mean, it's just, yeah, people who know that I know their tones, they get a kick out of it because they just throw out partials. Terry will typically go kilo 8 in the middle of the pile up. He'll go kilo 8. Now like kilo 8, golf go back.
Yeah, Edward, that's me. I put somebody on hold. God, I hope they hear me when I say I'll call on hold, come back, because I forgot what I would put you on hold with.
I've done it many a times. I'm like, all right, the call I put on hold because I done forgot who that was.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
what I'm gonna put them on. I'm gonna give them numbers from now, like deli tickets.
And I'll tell you, if any of you hunters out there right now has big pet peeves about us activators, I'll listen to them. I'll probably tell you you're wrong, but I'll listen to them if you want to put them in the chat. That is true. Let me highlight that really quick. I get this quite a bit. Hiking and Hammond says sometimes you get covered up by people and they can't tell and that's what I was talking about earlier. When I call Kilo Echo 8 Papa Tango X-ray, don't call over top of me because he's not hearing me. I hate it when I have to go kindergarten teacher on the hunters, but it's every other activation. I have to break it down and say, guys, if you will sit and listen to the people that I'm calling, this will move so much faster than you calling over top of me and keep trying to butt through. Because if I'm trying to really pull out a call sign and they're having a hard time hearing me, or I'm having a hard time hearing them, and I've got some jacktard that's a 5'9" plus screaming his call sign 22 times, just chill. I'm not, and there's nothing against Bill Brown, but Bill Brown will get his 12 contacts and he'll hit that power button on you really quick. I'm not that guy. And unless you get me in the morning and I'm on my way to work, and then I give a 10-minute warning, I'm back 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 calls, 9 calls. I mean, you got plenty of warning. In the morning, but that's because I'm going to work. But other than that, I pretty much get everybody. If I'm in that big a hurry, I just do FT8 and make the calls and cut it off. Because I hate to hear people calling. Even though I know for a fact, I've called last call and I was like, all right, I'm QRT, and literally be sitting here typing in my log, and it's 45 seconds later after I went QRT, and I left the radio on, and somebody throws out their call, and I'm like, and I grabbed the mic.
I was in my fourth park the other night, and I only needed because I listened to you too much. I needed 12, and that's all I wanted is 12 because I had to get to the other park before 7:00 and get 12 over there. And I made a comment. I said, I gotta go, guys. Sorry, I gotta go. I know there's a bunch of you, so I gotta go. And then one guy I was putting my iPad away, and I hear a guy make a comment. What's he afraid the park's going to run away? And somebody else came back. No, man, he's on a road. He's got to go. So they were having their own little QSO over there.
If you're going a big rove, I get it. I get it. I've went up with Bill Brown. We went on, I think it was an 18 park rove one day, and he wanted to do 10 and out, and I was like, no, I won't do below 12 because I got that 2 call buffer that I got to have. It's an OCD thing for me. I got to have that 2 call buffer, and so literally when because he'd go first and then hand it to me. He'd go first and hand it to me, or I'd go and then hand it to him. Well, he would start it where it would end up with me. He'd say, "Okay, we got blah 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 more left," and when I was saying, "Okay, 73," before I could say QRZ, he'd hit that power on me every time. But I mean that's the way he likes to do photo, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, you want to be the hardcore rover. I guarantee you, James, when he did all his his record number, he probably wasn't 12 and out, but I'm sure he was limited to what he wanted to do, and he did it and was gone. So me, especially this year, I want numbers. If you're still calling, I'm there. And that's the other thing. I do have a lot of hunters who fuss at me because
I'll be right back, James.
that's fine because I'm spoiled on my activations and I'm used to you guys calling me. So the second you guys stop calling me, I'm either hopping to another band or yes, Curtis, you're getting on another one of my points. It is my pet peeve too. But anyway, I'm going to another band or I'm QRT and moving to another park because I don't have time to sit around and call QRZ all day. You know, if you're there, you're there. If you're not, sorry, but I got to go. But that yes, once I put read the spotting page. If you're going to respot somebody, please read the comments because if I post QRT, there's no need for you to respot me because I'm gone. We're done. Right, Larry. When activator goes QRT, that means they're done. We're totally done. You know, we're tearing down the antenna and heading off into the sunset. We're totally done. And nothing makes me so mad is I get to another park and it says I was spotted again 2 minutes ago. And then people's like, how did you get to this park in 2 minutes? It's 30 minutes away. I was like, because I went QRT 32 minutes ago. I mean, it's just read the spotting page, you know. It gives you information. Sometimes it'll say, hey, he's at two parks. And if you couldn't really hear me and I'm saying, yeah, you're 5'9" in both parks, not that it matters because I'm going to log you in both parks. But if you're one of those people that want to write down each park and stuff, you're going to miss that. Just read the page, you know, and you know you're wasting other hunters' time too because you're respotting me and they're going to the frequency trying to hear me, waiting for me to break through. They think the band's as bad. I've got messages in Discord. James, I'm not hearing you. I'm like, that's because I've been gone from that park for like 10 minutes. I went QRT.
That's why I missed the first part of this, but I know exactly what you're talking about because we talked about it the other day. I usually now I'm waiting. I wait 15 minutes before I QRT on the spot page.
It's funny because if I'm not in a big hurry, you know, if I'm just doing a couple 3 parks or something, and I'm not in a big hurry, I'll set after I get done, and I will edit my log. And a lot of people don't understand what I mean by edit my log. I a lot of the activators don't do this, but I'm OCD. If the call sign didn't show up with your name, I'm going to go look it up and I'm going to put a name in there. I want the name in there. If it was park to park, it's going to say park to park in the comment. If it was Maritime Mobile, it's going to say Maritime Mobile in the comment. You know, any comments that I might have just wrote, like check this call to make sure it's right or something. Because did I hear Zulu or did I hear this? You know, like sometimes, you know, like S and K's are bad for me for some reason. I don't know why. The Sierra and Kilo, they don't sound alike at all, but there's certain people out there that says Sierra and Kilo a lot alike. And I'll put like if I put Kilo India, I'll in the comments I might put Sierra India if it didn't show up, and then I'll go check things and make sure I'm getting the right call because I want to give everybody their contacts. But
if an activator is having a hard time picking up your call, don't say it the same way every single time. Change it up, spread it out, change the phonetic.
Listen, you use the right phonetics to start with. You know, it's different if you've got this really snazzy thing that's going to make me laugh. You'll break my pile up. I'll give it to you. You get quiet, no talking, can't remember stuff. You know, that'll break my pile up. But if you're just saying weird, stupid stuff, it makes me slow way down too much. And I'm going to ask you like 5 times. You know, when you're saying Wonko 1 Roberto Can't Lima. I'm gonna, huh? I mean, just say the right stuff, you know. Unless it's going to be really snazzy and make me laugh, I'm probably not going to pick up on it. It's just going to slow me down.
And
And
that's my job. My job is to make him laugh.
and then I'm no, I really dig when people make me laugh on my activations. Uh, Patricia, Victor Echo 3, Romeo November Hotel. She cracked me up the first time she did it. I'm just blowing through the pile up, and she's just like, "You're 5'9", Your Majesty," and I just lost. I lost it. I totally lost it. So now every time she hunts me, I'll be like, "His Majesty says you're 5'9", my loyal subject." And there's people that don't know me or anything. They're like, "What is this clown talking about?" And I'm quite sure that Kilo Echo 8 part just give me the Papa Tango X-ray instead of the full. Yeah, that's the thing. I'll be like, all right, I got the Kilo Echo 8. Give me the last half. Then no, Kilo Echo 8, Papa Tango X-ray. All right, here we go. I'm a fast activator. I get it. I've even seen it in the spots. People like fast activator. But I'm cool with you hunters trying to blow through, get in there. But if I have to stop and ask you your call sign again, slow it down. You know what I'm saying? If you're saying, Kilo Echo 8, Papa Tango X-ray, and I say, again, Kilo Echo, Papa Tango X-ray, again, Kilo Echo, Papa Tango. So I'll be like, slow down. I get it. I get it. Half you guys probably don't understand me. As long as you hear me say 5'9", you're good, bud. But yeah, people will. They get, and that's my fault because I literally am a speed demon, and I'll blow through people, and they'll get in that mode, and they'll jam through. But if I don't know your call sign and you're flying through, just slow down a little bit. Yeah, RF and Round says Pat's a super awesome person. It's his local club's vice president. Uh, your daddy called me Your Majesty too, James, the other day. I'm like, you daggone Canadian. I figure James is the one putting them up to it. And it's funny because even the people who used funny stuff in the initial breakthrough my pile up days, now they say their call sign regular, and I can't unhear it. Like Kilo Charlie 3, he'll say Quebec Delta all the time now, and I'm like, Kilo Charlie 3, quack quack duck. He's always quack quack duck to me. Always. I can't unhear that.
That's his squire, not his daddy.
Oh, his squire. Okay.
Squire. Sierra, Quebec. Squire.
I know what a squire is.
Oh, I thought you said choir.
No, I know.
I'm the one that's not listening.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny stuff. All right, what else do we got to touch on? Oh gosh, we're already 4 minutes over, and I bet the Patreon's like, when's the after chat? When's the after chat? All right, anything else we need to touch on since we ran it?
I think we touched on it. I mean, it's really not a whole lot of things. It all really, if you think about it, all goes back to listen.
It's the truth. I mean, make sure you hear the activator. Make sure that the activator is calling you, and make sure the activator hears you right. Don't get in a hurry and think, oh, he said Kilo Bravo 3, Charlie Mike Sierra. That's me. No, your call's Kilo Charlie 3, Kilo Bravo 3, Charlie Mike Tango, not Sierra. Slow down and make sure I'm getting it right.
When I'm hunting and I'm on QRP, I got to listen to the caller 2 or 3 times and listen to his pile up. So because I'm getting on the on ramp, and I got a little car with 2 cylinders, so I got to find my spot to stick myself in so I can be heard.
Eddie,
There's always a spot you could stick yourself in, you know.
Eddie, thanks for the super chat Wednesday after chat. And Larry says, 73, y'all. PP man, we'll rag you tomorrow.
Okay, Larry.
Tomorrow
morning, Larry. Tomorrow morning, I'll be on the edge of the water.
Not if I'm hunting him, Larry.
Yeah.
I'll cut that off. I'm like a prison guard. I bet cut it off.
If he doesn't do it in public, he does it afterwards, and I have to hear about it.
And the last thing on proper etiquette, if you hear somebody say Kilo Hotel, stop your pile up right then.
Everybody, be quiet. The king's in the house.
Everybody be quiet. The king's in the house. Kilo 2 Alfalfa November says that's all, folks. That's true. If he's here, it's the last call. All right, guys. Thank you very much for the super chats tonight. Thanks for those who hung out. And if there was any buy me a coffee tonight, we'll blame Hayden for not being here because I don't know about it, but I will give you your shout outs next week. I promise you. Other than that, after chat is in Discord, guys, and we'll see everybody on the air tomorrow. 73.
Ciao.